Who fills in for Kendall if he's not here?
Mike does.
Okay. No, I haven't either. Too cold.
I know, I'm gonna wait a few
I
more.
gotta take my radiator out. Get recorded. I got a leak in it. It's original radiator.
It's a nice car. I remember seeing it when I was at your place. It's black, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember it.
yeah, in the garage. I kept it in the garage.
You were cleaning it when I was there. Polishing it a little bit. You were tinkering with something.
Yeah, nothing else to do on it.
Ready? Let's call the meeting to order. Call the roll.
Mr. Broderick?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Crompton?
Here.
Ms. Fiding? Here. Mr. Kella?
Here.
Mr. Orlando?
Here.
Mr. Rusonellis?
Here.
Mr. Strong?
Here. First item on the agenda.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we do have a request to move up an item on the agenda, and that is Z618 and A418. We will move that up to the fourth case on the agenda.
Under new business.
Under new business. Z518 will move down to the 8th place on the agenda.
Very well.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's the first. Okay. So the first item on our agenda will be the approval of the minutes.
The motion. So moved.
Second?
Call the roll.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Ms. Fiding? Aye. Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Mr. Rusonellis?
Aye.
Mr. Broderick?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Okay, under old business, we have A-11-17, and that is the annexation of 1311 New Lenox Road and classification to R1, which is single-family residential zoning, and approval of an annexation agreement. The petitioner in this case has requested that the proposed annexation classification to R1 and the approval of the annexation agreement should be withdrawn at this time. The application may come back at a later date as part of a larger annexation request. The meeting dates will be re-advertised and notices to surrounding property owners will be sent out again as part of the future petition if we have a petition submitted. The planning staff is in favor of this request, Mr. Chairman.
Good. Can we have a motion on A-11-17?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Crompton.
Aye.
Ms. Fiding.
Aye.
Mr. Kella.
Aye.
Mr. Orlando.
Aye.
Mr. Rosanellis.
Aye.
Mr. Broderick.
Aye.
Mr. Cox.
Aye.
Mr. Strawn.
Aye.
Okay, under new business, the next item on our agenda is V-1-18, and that is the vacation of obsolete public utility easements at the Water's Edge Housing Authority of Joliet, PUD. The applicant in this matter is John Chow. He is the agent for the developer. The owner of the property is the Housing Authority of Joliet. Their requested action is vacation of obsolete public utility easements. The purpose would be to remove utility easements from the plat of record because the utilities within these locations no longer exist. The location is the Water's Edge development, and that is the northwest corner of McDonough Street and Des Plaines Street. Size of the entire development parcel is 32,000 plus square feet. Existing land use is residential. Surrounding land use and zoning to the north is R2 single-family residential and R5 high-density multifamily residential. To the south is R2 and R5 as well. To the east is R2 and R5 as well. To the west is I1 light industrial and R5 high-density multifamily residential and vacant land. Under site history, Water's Edge is a mixed-density residential subdivision that the city permitted as a planned unit development in March 2016. The development completely replaced the former Des Plaines Gardens public housing development, which was built in the 1950s. The planned unit development resulted in 21 single-family detached units, 32 duplex units located in 16 buildings, and 15 triplex units located in 5 buildings. There are 2 detention lots along the west end of the site. A development office / clubhouse for residents is located on lot 70 in the vicinity of the detention areas. The Water's Edge development was completed in 2017, and the Joliet Housing Authority retains control over the site. Under special information, the petitioner wishes to vacate the easement portions in question because the utilities that were protected by the easements have since been removed, as were the structures and buildings associated with these utilities. The attached plat shows the location of these easements along with the former buildings of the Des Plaines Garden housing development. 44 parcels resulting from the new Water's Edge development are associated with this vacation request to remove these now obsolete utility easements. New easements that service the new buildings have been dedicated, and new sanitary and water mains have been installed to service the new uses. The city's Public Works Department and Utilities Department are in favor of the vacation request. As of the writing of the staff report, there has been no opposition from any outside utility companies. In response to the public notice concerning this request, NICOR notified city staff of the location of their utilities and subsequent easement, which is not subject to this vacation petition. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item?
Chairman, Commissioners, Clayton Thurston with Geotech, 1207 Cedarwood, on behalf of the Housing Authority of Joliet. The staff's report was complete, and we don't have anything more to add.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission?
I have, go ahead.
Go ahead, Orlando.
No, go ahead.
Please.
Okay, I got one quick question. When you, put a new easement in, does that require a new PIN number then? Are the old PIN numbers vacated and new PIN numbers put in? Because there was probably a decrease in buildings there, wasn't there?
The amount of units had gone down, yes. The PIN numbers are reassigned by the tax department on this, whenever it was re-subdivided. So effectively, all the underlying PINs were overwritten by new PINs based on the new lots and subdivisions in the subdivision that was recorded.
But is the easement assigned to a new PIN number then? Is that how you vacate the old?
No,
No?
the easements were in place, possibly even before some of the PINs, but once they're vacated, the PINs are relevant to it. It's just a,
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm good.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, then a motion is in order for V-1-18.
So moved.
Second?
Call the roll.
Ms. Friday?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Mr. Rosanellis?
Aye.
Mr. Broderick?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye. Thank you.
Next item under the new business portion of the agenda is Z-4-18, reclassification of 40 acres at the southeast corner of Brain Road and Route 53 from B3 General Business Zoning and R1B Single Family Residential Zoning to I1 Light Industrial Zoning. The applicant in this matter is Anthony Cavalier. He is the owner. Requested action is zoning reclassification. The purpose is to maximize value and use of the property. Existing zoning is B3, and that's general business zoning, and R1B, single family residential. The proposed zoning is I1, light industrial. The location is the southeast corner of Breen Road and Route 53. The size of the parcel is 40 acres. Existing land use is agricultural. Surrounding land use and zoning to the north is I1, light industrial, and R1, single family residential, and agricultural. To the south is A1, and that would be unincorporated Will County agricultural and single family residential. To the east is also A1, unincorporated Will County. To the west is I1, light industrial and agricultural uses. Under site history, the subject site was annexed in Zone B3, general business, and R1B, single family residential, on February 1st, 2005. The B3 general business zoning consists of 20 acres extending south and east from the corner of Green Road and Route 53. The R1B, single family residential zoning consists of 20 acres and extends southward from Green Road. The existing land use is agricultural. Under special information, the petitioners are requesting approval of a zoning reclassification from B3, and again, that's general business, and R1B, single family residential, to I1, light industrial, in order to maximize the value and use of the 40-acre site. There are no known parties interested in the site or redevelopment plans at this time. Future development would be subject to the approved annexation agreement, which addresses prohibited uses, development fees, extension of utilities, and dedication of easements. The proposed I1 zoning request would have been contrary to the existing Southside Comprehensive Plan, which was adopted by ordinance by the City Council in March of 2007. However, a recent annexation and zoning to I1, light industrial, of the land to the immediate west has changed the future land use in this area. The property immediately north of the subject site is currently zoned light industrial. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioners on this item, please?
Yes, it's me. I'm Anthony Cavalier. I own the property. I've owned it since 2000. And originally, I was following Joliet's plan. We originally had it set up for industrial site. And then at about, after we had it annexed, we decided that we would go along with Joliet's master plan, and that would be residential in the back. We were going to have commercial in the front. And of course, that has never panned out. And as we've watched everything change out there, the best use for that property is going to be industrial. And we see it happening, of course, in the west, which just happened about 2 months ago. And of course, in the north. So to have some kind of residential, that's changed our plans. We understand that the city council will probably be interested in probably changing that long-range plan also. So here to give a talk will be Steve Ostrowski with Jones Lang LaSalle. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Very briefly, of course. Thank you, Chairman and Commission. Steve Ostrowski with JLL. I'm a commercial real estate advisor specializing in industrial assets, specifically in Joliet and I-80. As you know, there's about 40 million square feet of industrial assets right in this corridor, if you will. And what we're proposing is a 480,000 square foot light industrial distribution center. Ideally, it'd be manufacturing, which would be more jobs. But there really is a need for something under 1 million square feet, which is what you see up and down this corridor. At 400 to 500,000 square feet, we would be likely have 50 dock doors. So our truck traffic would be lighter. We would anticipate anywhere from 10 to 20 trucks per day. So we believe that the revised zoning would suit the current need and demand for light industrial in this area. And we do have demand from industrial developers wanting it in this location.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission?
Yes, Mr. Ostrowski, can you give me an example of what light industrial is?
Yeah, very similar to everything you see kind of highlighted on this map here. You can see this, everything that ranges from Home Depots and IKEA and Amazon. Really just fulfillment and distribution centers.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I have a question. Breen Road, are you planning on widening up Breen Road?
We have priced everything out for curb cuts and adding lights and all those things that we'll ultimately submit to the council. As far as a widening, I don't know if, we don't understand that would be necessary, but if it is, we would.
It wouldn't be necessary. It's only a tire and chip road. It's an old farm road is what it is. I don't think trucks would be able to move down Breen Road as efficient as even on 53. You can't come out on 53.
Yeah.
That's kind of jam-packed there, right?
We would come in and out from the, off of Breen, yeah.
But Breen's too narrow. Plus you still got, you still have a 900,000 square foot building
Yeah.
to the north that's empty.
That'll be the job of the developer, but, potentially, yes.
Well, there's actually no room for truck traffic. There's hardly any room for truck traffic now.
Actually,
Going on Breen Road as a.
actually, that whole corner will be upgraded. That's part of a mandate. That whole corner will be upgraded.
By who?
By the developer. Yeah, that's all mandated to be changed. A deceleration lane, upgraded corner, stoplight, and it'll be widened. That was all planned. As a matter of fact, Joliet has all those plans and they gave them to us.
You don't even have a buyer yet for the property, right?
But you have to get a buyer and then they do it. They change it.
After you get the buyer.
So now we also understand that the state is working on doing changes on the road also.
What kind of changes are they planning?
I'm sorry?
What kind of changes are they planning?
I don't know. They've been surveying it and they're gonna do some kind of changes on the road. But our buyer would be responsible for doing development to that corner. So that's already been addressed.
How far down would the developer be responsible for on Breen Road then? How far down?
As
By the
far
White House
down
is
south, you mean?
South. No, the east. how far east on Green Road?
Oh, probably just our own property is what it would be, I would imagine. How far do you think they would go? They're not gonna go a mile down, the property's only, so the property would be up to the entrances, wherever truck traffic would be on that 40 acres, whatever the entrance is, they would probably upgrade.
Because right now, that's a township road. That's
Yeah,
owned by the township.
absolutely, I understand, yeah. They would do according to whatever rules and regulations, and like I say, Joliet's already mandated that, so.
But where are the docks going to be located, on Green Road or on 53? You have some sort of a plan on how the trucks are going to get in and out? Well, then the docks are gonna be on facing Green Road?
Well, if it's cross dock, yeah.
No, the docks would face 53 here and
Face
the farm
53?
field.
Then all the trucks would have to go out on 53 or come in, right?
No, we're gonna have a,
Once they update that.
See, the trucks can come in, you got two ingress, egress areas. here,
Okay.
So they can come in from the back. But yes, to your point, likely green would have to be widened.
Yeah, it'd have to be, yeah.
Do you mind bringing that over here?
Yeah.
Just for size, thank you.
We have a PDF of the actual plan, and it's not set in stone because, again, we don't have a developer that has stepped up to.
You said you have been in talk with developers though, correct?
Many, yeah. So this is a plan we developed to essentially sell to the development community. So it's just an architectural plan, it's just a rendering, it's nothing firm.
are there any other comments from the commission? Any comments or questions from the audience? Please come up to the microphone, state your name for the record.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Paul Buss. I'm the Highway Commissioner for Jackson Township Highway Department. And I'm just asking you if your decision would hopefully could be leave the zoning as is. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Al Gutierrez, 19544 Sharp Road. Just like Paul, he's lived there longer than what I have in that area, and I've been there 45 years. And I can tell you that since 1999, I believe, when the drag strip went in, everything out there has been a done deal before any opposition comes up here. Now, I want to read something to you from the Herald News. Okay, this is from O'Hara. Said annexation already goes through Plan Commission and village boards with public hearings along the way, but the voice of the people who live out there doesn't matter because everything's a done deal. The only thing that we've seen turned down at all out, and that was not even south, that was the Love's Truck Stop that wanted to go in at Old New Lenox Road and Briggs Street. Other than that, everything that comes here gets passed. And then everything that gets here on these houses, where these properties abut housing, they keep on telling everybody, oh, it's gonna be just like it is over on Hobolt Road across from the college. That's the way everything's gonna look. If you go down there, everything that's up front, on the front lots, has got the Dunkin' Donut and everything else. The warehouses sit to the back. Now, you've all been here a long time, and I've invited you before when I hear all this stuff about, you know, these warehouses, right, like that. I still don't have storm sewer on my side of a 17-foot high slope that never got put in because the slope was never supposed to be there. The ponds are draining into the farmer's field because they're not working right. But when the Planning Commission and the City Council annex these properties, they annex the whole property and step away from these retention ponds. I don't know why, because once you annex the whole property, it's city property, basically. You're trying to put stuff out there. You don't have police protection out there. You've got one squad that sits out there, truck enforcement. Now, today he was sitting north of Laraway Road on 53 in the median. So what do all the trucks do? They decide, okay, why should we turn down Laraway Road? Here's the truck enforcement police right here. Let's just go straight south and turn up Millsdale Road, and we got a clear shot in the center point. Every day at 4 o'clock, people that go to work over there at shift change, they take Millsdale Road doing about 65 miles an hour, and if you go to pull out, they just go around you because there's a center lane there, and they keep on going right past Braden and Millsdale, still flying by, not stopping. Now, if you don't have enough police to take care of the area, then don't worry about trying to annex anymore for warehousing, because you can't control people out there. And I still am inviting all of you to come out there. We'll walk through the warehouse over there, Hobolt Road, and then we'll walk through Joliet crossings. Nothing out there has ever gotten final inspection. And no matter if you guys tell me, well, the people went bankrupt out there, Pasquinelli went bankrupt, Joliet crossings went bankrupt, so now the eyesores are out there, and the city doesn't want to take care of them. That's money. All the city's interested in is taking up them tax dollars. Now, I would suggest that you table all this till we find out if Larry Wells Jr.'s comes up with that signing of that, that it's got to be put up for referendum for all these warehouses, because you don't listen to the people who live out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions?
I have one for,
Yes.
a comment for Mr. Jackson. Was there a truck traffic study done recently out there since the other property across the street was annexed last month or the month before, and now this one here, they want to annex. Is it a new truck traffic study been done?
No,
There hasn't?
no.
Well, you're gonna get 50 more docks added to whatever we have over there, if they ever develop anything across the street. I feel that something should be done to see if they could accommodate all the trucks before we go ahead and start rezoning everything. And the infrastructure isn't set in yet. Infrastructure can't even handle what we have now, what they have there out there now. That's probably why that 900,000 square foot building isn't occupied. They probably got trouble getting trucks in and out of there for that. I don't know what road they use.
Supposed to be Millsdale and 53. They're supposed to have traffic lights put up there, so if they get traffic lights up there, this state's not gonna give them traffic lights on the road. They're too close together.
Mary, did you want to comment?
Like he was saying about the truck traffic and that, and the police, we have our problems out here with the Union Pacific Yard. Constantly trucks turning right-hand out of there when they're supposed to turn left. Trucks speeding, trucks blowing through stop signs and stop lights. Even the people who work at these warehouses flying down the road, passing on double yellow lines. You call it Joliet police. You won't come out and police this thing. They say they got cops out there one day a week, only from like 9 to 1:30 in the evening. These warehouses do not close. They're open 24/7. We need 24-hour policing out here. You ain't even doing it right now with the ones existing. So don't be letting more come in here if you're not willing to expand your police force to handle this stuff. And we call the police and we end up being harassed and be treated like the criminals. That's what the Joliet police treat us like. All we're doing is reporting the crimes of these trucks and these people, what they do. And on top of it, there's two new big giant warehouses down here at Route 6, over where the so-called Hobolt Bridge is supposed to be starting over there. There's two giant warehouses over there now that they're building. And it's got the sign up, available, space available. You got giant warehouses on 55 over there in Shanahan. They're built, available. Nobody's in these places. Why do you keep letting warehouses being built and taking a valuable farmland, which is what this country's, one of the greatest commodities this country has is their farm and agriculture. Why are you taking all the available farmland just to put up warehouses in hope that people come in there and stay and go in there? And we got how many empty warehouses in Will County already? Businesses come there for 4 years, then when they have to start paying taxes, they leave that warehouse and go to another warehouse somewhere else. We don't need any more warehouses. Just stop the madness.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Yes, sir.
I appreciate the ability to offer my humble opinion to you folks, and I'm concerned about two things. I, of course, want to save the farmland, but I understand, I can understand the owner's idea of making a change. But I really would like to protect what they call the 66 corridor or the Segmeister corridor from Joliet to Wilmington. It's overloaded with traffic now. I'm not a veteran, but I respect all the veterans that come from hundreds of miles even and decorate the graves for holidays, and even the visitors that come just to visit their loved ones. And we have Medewin also, and I don't think we have to go to this industrial corridor. I think we can protect it as a visitor's corridor. And we've got this thing going on in Elwood. I live in Jackson Township. I have for the past 80 years. And it's been a nice community, and now it's starting to get torn apart. We're fighting with neighbors. I've played ball with neighbors in Manhattan, and I hope we can keep up our good relations. But this thing is starting to rip us apart even, and I would hope that Joliet can work with everybody here. And you know, I took a drive through the extension off of Laraway Road there, and the center point, and there's an awful lot of space there yet. And I believe if you're going to build warehouses, they should be built close to the interstate, and forget this business of running through towns and things like that. And the other thing is, I think people are getting a little bit tired of all this stuff, and we're starting to cut back on some of our spending. You know, who wants to go to Sam's or Walmart and buy enough toilet paper for 2 years? I mean, it just doesn't make sense anymore. And I think we're in due for a change, and we're getting all kinds of flack from Washington. We don't know if they're going to have trade wars or what. If there's a trade war, why exports won't be coming in anyhow, you know. Hopefully we get a little industry, you know, but I just hope we can keep the corridor even as it is. So.
Thank you. Could I have your name for the record, please?
Pardon?
Your name? We didn't get your name for the record.
I'm Sewing, S-E-W-I-N-G from Elwood.
Thank you very much. Is there one more that wanted to speak? I thought I saw someone stand. No? Okay. Yes.
You know, it would be nice to leave everything farmland and to forget about progress. But once Pandora's box was opened with the railroad, you need services to be able to feed the railroad and get it back. The comment was made that we won't have any imports. Well, now you'll have exports, and you still need the railroad. Okay, so this is all progress. The farmland, it would be great to leave farmland, the United States, Illinois especially, needs production. And that's what we need. The state is desperate. Do you want to keep the industry here or let it go to another state? And that, to me, is, I mean, that's progress. It's unfortunate, but that is what it is. So,
Thank you.
that's really all. Thank you.
A motion is in order for Z-4-18.
Make a motion to reject the plan.
Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Is there another motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Call the roll.
Mr. Kella?
No.
Mr. Orlando?
Nay.
Mr. Rosanellis?
Aye.
Mr. Broderick?
No.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Ms. Fide?
Before I vote on this, I just wanted to say, I've been very hesitant in the past, about industrial being in this area specifically, but after the plan that was shown, 10 to 20 trucks a day, I'm gonna vote aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion carries.
What was the total? And Mr. Jackson, what was the total? I lost count.
The count was
5 ayes.
5 ayes and 3 nays.
Okay.
5-3.
Next item on the agenda, please.
Next item on the agenda, we moved up, and that is Z6-18 and A4-18. Z6 is the reclassification of 5.3 acres located at 130 East Laraway Road from B3 General Business to I1 Light Industrial Zoning. A4 is the amendment to an annexation agreement for 130 East Laraway Road. The applicants in this matter, Phyllis Anselmino as trustee of the Phyllis Anselmino Trust, and Lisa Marie Anselmino, Denise Michelle Anselmino as trustees of the Richard Anselmino Trust. The status of the applicants in this matter, they are the owners. Requested action, approval of a reclassification of 5.33 acres from B3 General Business to I1 Light Industrial, and an amendment to the annexation agreement to eliminate the requirement for the property to be developed as a planned unit development. The purpose is to align the zoning with proposed use of the parcel. Existing zoning is B3 General Business. Proposed zoning is I1 Light Industrial. Location 130 East Laraway Road. Size is 5.33 acres. Existing land use is agricultural. Under surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is industrial, and that's I1 zoning. To the south is single-family residential and agricultural with Will County A2 zoning. To the east is agricultural and I1 zoning. To the west is single-family residential, commercial, and B3 and agricultural uses. Under site history, the overall property was annexed and reclassified to a combination of I1 Light Industrial and B3 General Business in 2006. The northern 5.3 acres, which have frontage on Laraway Road, are Zone B3, and the rear approximately 5.8 acres have frontage on Zip Road, are zoned I1. Under special information, the existing 2006 annexation agreement anticipated more than one building on the property based on the split zoning that was also approved at the time, and therefore requires the property to be developed as a planned unit development for a cohesive design. The applicants are now requesting that the north 5.3 acre portion be reclassified from B3 to I1 to accommodate a single warehouse distribution facility. The applicants have submitted a preliminary site plan and building elevations for a proposed 322,000 plus square foot warehouse distribution facility on 23.4 acres, which includes the overall 11.1 acre subject property, as well as additional property to the east, which is already zoned I-1 in the city of Joliet. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioners on this item, please?
Good evening. My name is Tom Osterberg at 111 North Ottawa Street in Joliet. As Kendall had said, the petitioner were the owners, and Michelle Rowe, the attorney for the owners, is here, but it's probably more appropriate that we speak. We're the contract purchaser. I have with me today Brad Borkowski. Lairway Partners is the contract purchaser, but Brad's family business is Midwest Distribution. They're currently on South Chicago Street. They warehouse materials and goods for businesses in the area. So this isn't a speculative building that they're looking to sell. They're here now, they're expanding due to all the business in the area. What's interesting about this case is the parcel in question, what we're seeking to do is to amend the annexation agreement to remove that B3 component. It is the parcel in question and the adjacent parcel are one half I-1 and the other one is I-1. So really what we have is a quarter that's B3, and B3 is, I'm not sure, in 06, I think the plan was a little different. I don't anticipate that a B3 use will come to that front section, and Mr. Borkowski is looking to put a building in the I-1 use, and so we have to eliminate that B3. So if you have any questions, we're here and the engineer is here as well.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. All the truck traffic, here we go again with the truck traffic, is that gonna come in on Laraway Road?
Right, so the present plan has on Laraway, they have discussed with Joliet, they have to improve the frontage on Ziff Road in the rear. So there could be an entrance, an exit out that way as well, but there will be an entrance onto Laraway.
Currently, there's no plans to utilize Ziff Road. Our exclusive entrance is going to be on Laraway. If Ziff Road is ever developed in the future, we'll explore adding curb cuts on Ziff Road.
Do you know who owns Ziff Road now?
So the Kendall, our portion goes into Ziff currently, but it's a Joliet road, just not serviced, correct?
Is that a township road, or?
Scott, no. Is it Joliet right?
Yeah, as soon as the property's annexed adjacent to that road becomes ours, and becomes Joliet. So.
It does become Joliet? Because I seen on the picture over here, it looks like Ziff Road just kind of fades out. Well, the picture before this one here, it shows like Ziff Road just fades out. Like it goes to like a dead end.
So I don't think it's currently utilized. Scott, the plan in the future is it continues down.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's a dead end right now. That is at those residential properties.
The annexation agreement does mandate that the owner contributes the amount or improves its frontage on Ziff. So we're talking about what we have to do in that regard.
Okay, well, wouldn't it be better if instead of having truck traffic hit on Laraway Road to come out, go in and out on Ziff Road? That way you eliminate some traffic on Laraway since that's congested already?
It's our intent to use Laraway Road.
Huh?
It's our intent to use Laraway Road.
Well, that's what I mean. In order not to use Laraway Road, to alleviate some congestion, with all the, you have the trucks with the truck stop, the pilot truck stop, and across the street they have the other warehouse. To eliminate some of that, wouldn't it be more logical to use the Ziff Road as an entrance? If you could develop Ziff Road instead of making improvements on Laraway Road, just take Ziff Road and just come in and out of 53.
We don't feel so. The current design that we have is the site slopes to the northeast or west corner, and so our detention is placed in that section, which allows our access road to be long and windy coming into our site, which provides a nice truck queue and gives us great access to the Briggs interchange as well as the 53 interchange.
Very good. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Any comments or questions from the audience? Yes, sir, please come up and state your name.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Mark Zahn. I live on Ziff Road. And Mr. Orlando, to address you as far as truck traffic on Ziff Road, it is a one-lane road. To the left, as you're going east on Ziff Road, you have utilities, ComEd. And according to my neighbor, we have easement rights on the north side of that road. The other thing is, on this deal, is, of course, the petitioners didn't say anything how much truck traffic is going to be there. The other thing is, my question is, or comment is, this going to be a 24-hour facility like a lot of these warehouses? Because we live right on the other side. Right now, we got a lot of warehouses that are a quarter mile or so away. So we got lights on all night. Well, that ain't bad a quarter mile away. Now we're talking a couple hundred foot. And as far as bringing truck traffic off Ziff Road, even if it was wide enough on the 53, it doesn't matter what road you're coming on. It's massive, this truck traffic, like these other people have talked about. When the trains go across the tracks, they're going to the Joliet intermodal. Them semis are backed up all the way to 53 and going north almost to the Speedway station. This is how savage it is.
Well, that was the point I was trying to make, to get traffic off of Laraway Road, because there's too much traffic already.
Well, it doesn't matter where the traffic's at. Laraway 53, it's a nightmare out there.
Right, I agree with you.
You know, and the other thing is I've talked to a friend of mine who's talked to the county police, and as far as on Laraway Road, those police officers were told, of course I can't substantiate it, but they're told, don't mess around with nothing. In other words, if somebody's speeding, let it go. So when this other woman, I don't remember her name, that come up and talking about policing out there, it's non-existent. And the other thing is, like, when you got Amazon coming out, those people, you can be 40 foot away on 53 heading north. They'll pull right out in front of you. They don't care. And, you know, like I said, I understand landowners, you know, they want to rezone and they want to sell their land and make profit. That's understandable. American way, capitalism, whatever you want to call it. But until things get a handle here where you guys get, or the state or somebody gets this infrastructure up to speed as far as, you know, more lanes, more police or something, it's going to get worse instead of better. This is, it got out of hand, you know, just like people say, oh, there's only going to be 10 or 20 trucks a day. Not in my experience. And I've been living there since 1989. So, you know, you guys are going to make your decision or whatever, but...
Mr. Zahn, which house is yours on?
I'm at the end of the dead end.
Okay. The petitioner, what's your setback off the Zahn Road for the warehouse, and what are going to be your hours of operation?
Our hours are a standard one-day shift, or one shift per day, 7 to 4:30. That's the current hours on our location at 3451 South Chicago Street.
Scott, is there anything in this, they're already annexed, right? Are they already in the city? No. Yeah, no, they already are. It's a zoning change. So, is there anything in their agreement now about hours of operation? Because I know we had that, I think, with the warehouses to the north by the houses.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a...
I don't believe there's anything in the current agreement.
Okay.
Also, with respect to ZIP, the petitioner's just doing what the city had planned. Doesn't want to go out on the ZIP, obviously, but has to contribute, and there is a plan for the road, right, Scott? Right. I mean, that was done years ago.
Right, you're just...
Have to fulfill
You just have to make a road on your frontage, I understand that, but is there anything in the site plan for berming or anything? But it's an 8-hour operation right now, but.
Correct.
But what, do you have any landscape berming or anything to the south?
So we have the landscape pursuant to the ordinance as if it's a frontage road.
Okay. So that's a frontage road would be no berm then? Or is there a berm? Okay.
And then the other thing I'd like to address is, you know, I don't know how, I take it there's going to be city sewer as far as for getting no rainwater or whatever off the property if they develop this.
That's what he was saying, why he wanted to come in off of Laraway. Their detention pond's gonna be on the north end of their property, and they wanna slope their entire property to the north.
Right, because that's the other thing is my neighbor who's lived there longer than me, through all this development, he's had, multiple problems with water, standing water on his farmland. And even on my property, I've noticed that, when it rains hard, I don't know if the field tile are collapsing or what's going on there, but it isn't the same what it used to be.
Right.
Other than that, the other question or comment is, okay, if they're only gonna be during day shift, are their parking lights gonna be off at night, or is it gonna be on all the time?
That's a security issue, but yeah.
So typically, we have lights affixed to the building, and the architect does a study on light pollution and how bright it is in the darkest of night. And I believe it's a state requirement that we don't have light pollution to adjacent properties.
I have a question.
Once again, so is their plan just building lights, or are there parking lot lights as well? I only see building lights on the.
I mean, we don't have a submittal at this time.
Okay.
We always require a volumetric plan to be submitted with any site development, so it would show the location of all the lights on the site and how the illumination affects and spreads out on the property. So we shoot for a zero illumination basically at the property line.
Yeah, maybe we could hope that not too much spills to the south.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I guess that's it.
I have one question, for you, sir. You said now you're building a new facility over here, but you only have one shift. Are you looking for the future to, I would assume that you're looking in the future to expand. So you're gonna have more than one shift if you're gonna expand, right?
We have a dozen facilities in the Chicagoland area, and most of our facilities are one-shift operations. The anticipated use for this facility is a storage of food products, and it's not heavy with e-commerce and heavy with headcount, and we could get all of our loads done in one-shift operation.
Could you do me a favor and just come up to the microphone when you're gonna respond?
So you say
Just so that it's on the record.
this is mostly a food distribution warehouse?
Correct. Yeah, the majority of our customers are food, and the anticipated use for this facility is food storage, which would be your whey proteins, your sugars, your flours.
So there wouldn't be no need for refrigeration in this building then, right?
Currently, no. We don't do any freezer or cold storage. We only do some air-conditioned storage, which is 65 degrees.
Thank you. Sir?
Yes, Tom Hassey, I also live on Zip Road, and my neighbor Mark's on, he's right, it's a mess out there and it's getting worse. Now, if you were to put that road through the Zip Road, let them come in and access to 53, you're just gonna give these people going that way a way to get around that red light. They're gonna just zip right through it. They do it at the gas stations. I mean, it's terrible out there with traffic.
Right, I don't think we want them to use Ziff Road. We
No.
want them to use Laraway Road. That was a suggestion of one of the commissioners.
Right.
And a thought to alleviate traffic on Laraway, but that is not the intention of the developer or the city.
Okay, so, because that upset me, I'm sorry, but.
No. They want the water to go out to Laraway for that big storm sewer. They don't want it to shed onto your property, and they don't want, any trucks heading south. What they're saying is that because that's and Scott, if I misspeak, please correct me, but what they're saying is that because Ziff Road is a small one-lane road, the property probably extends out to it. And so therefore, because they're buying this property and annexing the city, they have to bring their section of the road up to the city standards. Correct? So they're not going to, make it a whole turn lane out there. They're not even gonna have any curb cuts. They're just going to fix that section of road, and they're responsible for that section of road when they're building their property.
On Zip Road.
Right.
But
That's
they won't use it for business.
Correct. It's just to fix your road.
Okay. But also with these businesses coming in, I mean, our mailbox is on Route 53. We have to go out there. It's very dangerous. These cars do 100 miles an hour down that road. Yeah. Plus, when they leave these corporations, like the one person says, they don't abide, that's not a stop sign. 3 seconds is a legal stop. They zip right through like we shouldn't be on Laraway Road. And they're throwing their plastic bags out, their beer cans, their pop cans. It's getting worse with more people out there. It really is. So.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Were there any other comments or questions on this item? Okay, hearing none, then a motion is in order for Z-6-18 and A-4-18.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Orlando?
Nay.
Mr. Rusnellis?
Aye.
Mr. Broderick?
Present.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crumpton?
Aye.
Ms. Fide?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the next item on our agenda is A-3-18. That is the annexation of 615 Elmwood Avenue, classification to R2A, single-family residential zoning, and approval of an annexation agreement. The applicant in this matter is Solomon Chavez. He is also the owner. Requested action is annexation, classification to R2A, single-family residential zoning, and approval of an annexation agreement. The purpose is to connect to city water and sewer. Location again is 615 Elmwood Avenue. The size of the parcel is 5,245 square feet. Existing land use is a single-family home. To the north is R2 single-family residential. To the south is R5 unincorporated Will County residential. To the east is R2A single-family residential, that's in Joliet. And to the west is Joliet single-family residential, R2 single-family zoning. Under site history, we could find no previous cases. Under special information, the petitioner is requesting the annexation of the property at 615 Elmwood Avenue in order to connect to city water and sewer at the property. The R2A single-family residential zoning request is in character with the surrounding area, which is predominantly single-family. The majority of the homes in this area are in the city of Joliet. Two parcels directly south of the property across Elmwood Avenue are in unincorporated Will County. The property at 615 Elmwood Avenue includes a circa 1925 one-story home. The home is currently vacant. The petitioner plans to renovate this home and move in. The driveway will need to be repaved and extended in order to provide off-street parking for two vehicles. This will be defined in the annexation agreement. The paving will need to be completed prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. City water and sewer run along Elmwood Avenue and stop just before the subject property. The location of the nearest sanitary sewer main is in the center line of Elmwood Avenue, directly in front of the subject property. And the location of the nearest water main is 30 feet from the subject property. The property will be required to connect to city water and sewer within 60 days of annexation. The property owner is financially responsible for these connections and for extending the water and sewer lines to the property. The property will be subject to tap-on fees. These details are further defined as part of the annexation agreement. The detachment fee for the East Joliet Fire District has been paid in the amount of $747.75. The property is not in a library district and therefore fees are not required. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please? Please come up to the microphone and just state your name for the record.
My name is Solomon Chavez. I'm the petitioner.
Very good. Do you have anything to add? No problem. No problem.
pagar todo de que...
Okay, so, he has a question on, what is happening with the driveway. I heard that, he was responsible for all the financial, responsibilities. And he's asking what's gonna happen.
Well, you are responsible as the homeowner that's annexing in to pave your driveway for enough off-street parking for 2 cars. So if it's too short, you have to extend it. And
Will he have to do that, extend the driveway?
yes.
It looks pretty close.
Yeah, the requirement is that he'll need to create enough pavement to park at least 2 vehicles off-street.
Scott, is that, in the picture, is that his old bulb casing sticking out in front of the driveway?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. Are they gonna have to cut and cap that? I think if you look in the picture, it's either the clean out for there's no sewer.
No, it's
so
the
that's
well.
his well casing.
Pass it down, this is for the next case.
Also, I want to make sure that he understands, that he has 60 days to tie in with the city water and city sewer, and that he's responsible for that. Okay. Any other comments or questions from the commission?
Yeah, I have one. Yeah, I took a ride out there on the property, and the driveway, right behind that pile of dirt, there is a well. It says Lockport Well and Pump. So there must be an active well there at this time, I would assume. And if there's a well, I'm sure there's a septic system in the back. The city has to require a septic system to be removed, isn't it? And the well be removed before they can annex?
He'll need to cap the well and cap off the septic system.
Right.
And what we'll do is we'll work with him to make sure he understands what those
Okay.
requirements are and the timing and all of that.
Okay.
Sí, eso que está ahí, se mira blanco.
Ellos dijeron que ellos van a ayudarte y van a hablar contigo para cerrar eso, porque eso es parte del estudio.
No, pero ellos van a ayudar como...
No, sí te van a dar información en qué hacer para que ellos quiten eso.
No, está bien.
Okay. One more question. I noticed too that there's a concrete pad in the back of the property. I assume there was a garage there at one time? Were you planning on putting a garage up too, or no?
He said when he bought the house, it wasn't there anymore.
No, I know. Yeah, it's just a concrete pad was there, right?
I don't live there either.
Oh, okay.
Sí, ahí está.
Okay. Well, you'd have enough room then for a couple cars for parking. Okay.
Any other comments or questions from the commission? Any comments or questions from the audience? Which one are we on, A3?
A3, yeah.
Then a motion's in order for A-3-18.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Rusnellis,
Aye.
Mr. Broderick,
Aye.
Mr. Cox,
Aye.
Mr. Crompton,
Aye.
Ms. Fiding,
Aye.
Mr. Kella,
Aye.
Mr. Orlando,
Aye.
Mr. Strong.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, the next item on our agenda is Z-8-18, P-1-18, and FP-1-18. Z-8 is the reclassification of 0.9 acres located near the northwest corner of Route 59 and Caton Farm Road from R1 single-family residential zoning to B3 general business zoning. P1 is the preliminary plat of Hawk Motor Park subdivision. FP1 is the final plat of Hawk Motor Park subdivision, Unit 1. The applicant in this matter is West Jeff Auto Sales. The status of the applicant is the contract purchaser. Owner of the property is Joliet Park District. The requested action is approval of a zoning reclassification from R1 to B3 zoning on a portion of the property, preliminary plat of subdivision, and final plat of subdivision. The purpose is to allow the development of 2 automobile dealerships. Existing zoning is R1 single family residential and B3 general business zoning. Location is northwest corner of Route 59 and Caton Farm Road. Size of the parcel is 7.7 acres. Existing land use is the Wedgewood Golf Course. Surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is public recreation, that is the golf course, zoned B3 general business and R1 single family residential. To the south is commercial, zoned B3 general business. To the east is commercial, zoned B3 general business. To the west is public recreation, Wedgewood Golf Course, zone B3 general business, and R1 single family residential. Under site history, the property in question is currently owned by the Joliet Park District and is occupied by the southeast portion of the Wedgewood Golf Course. That is portions of hole number 6 and hole number 7. The applicant currently is under contract with the Park District to purchase approximately 7.7 acres at the corner for the proposed commercial development. The Park District intends to modify the layout of the golf course to accommodate the proposed commercial development in anticipation of selling a portion of the property. In 2011, the Joliet Park District submitted a petition for a zoning reclassification from R1 to B3 for the southeast portion of the golf course, which fronts Route 59 and Caton Farm Road. The City Council approved that request with the adoption of ordinance number 16777 in February of 2011. Under special information, the applicant is seeking approval of a zoning reclassification from the R1 single family residential district to the B3 general business district on the western portion of the 7.7 acre property, which is under contract due to the shape and size of the property, which is under contract for the proposed automobile dealerships, versus the portion of the golf course that was previously reclassified to B3 general business in 2011. The applicant is also seeking approval of a preliminary plat of subdivision for the overall golf course property and final plat of subdivision for Unit 1, Lot 1, which includes the subject property. Lot 1 is the subject of the purchase contract, would accommodate the proposed Hawk Volkswagen and Hawk Mazda development on approximately 4.5 acres, as well as an undeveloped site to the north for a future automobile dealership expansion or other commercial development on approximately 3.1 acres. In a separate petition before the Zoning Board of Appeals earlier this afternoon, the petitioner requested a special use permit to allow two new and used car sales businesses at the northwest corner of Route 59 and Caton Farm Road. Hawk Mazda would be relocated from its current location along Jefferson Street. Hawk Volkswagen would also be relocated from Jefferson Street. The moves are desired due to franchise requirements and to meet space needs. Per the proposed site plan, the 2 dealerships would be connected under one roof via a shared customer service bay. The proposed building contains approximately 29,500 square feet of gross floor area, according to the table in the site plan. The lot would contain 53 customer and employee parking spaces, including 3 handicapped accessible spaces and 284 inventory parking spaces, for a grand total of 337 parking spaces. Parking for customers, employees, car display, and inventory complies with the city's minimum parking requirement for retail businesses which involve vehicle sales, which requires 1 parking space per each 500 square feet of floor area used for the display of sale merchandise, excluding office space, plus 1 parking space for each employee per shift. At the time of this report, the applicant had not submitted a landscape plan or building elevations. Staff requested that the applicant submit a landscape plan along with building elevations for staff review prior to the issuance of a building permit, and that the landscape plan shall reflect that any fencing around the vehicle storage areas will consist of a black vinyl coated chain link fence or wrought iron or similar type aluminum fencing. All public improvements will be required per the city's subdivision ordinance and per the requirements of the Public Works Department and Public Utilities Department. A dedication of 50 feet of right-of-way along the north side of Caton Farm Road will be required along lots 1 and 2. A 5-foot sidewalk will be required along Route 59, and that's lots 1 and 2. Water and sewer connection fees and development impact fees will be required, and I believe we had an addendum. Okay, we have one. Okay, let's see here. The addendum to the staff report, there's additional information. The petitioner is requesting a variation to the subdivision regulations to waive the requirement for sidewalks. In conjunction with the preliminary plat, the applicant is requesting a variation to the subdivision regulations for a waiver of the requirement to provide sidewalks along Route 59 and Caton Farm Road. Staff is recommending that the sidewalk along Route 59 be installed to accommodate pedestrian safety for the subject site and future development to the north. There is no existing sidewalk adjacent to the golf course along the north side of Caton Farm Road. Pedestrians can use the walking, biking path along the south side of Caton Farm Road and the crosswalk at the Caton Farm Road Route 59 intersection to access the subject site. Based on the above, staff is supportive of the Caton Farm Road sidewalk waiver request. The Plan Commission is charged with making its findings and recommendation to the City Council based on the following criteria, which are listed in the subdivision regulations. I will not go through that entire list for the sake of brevity. Based on the outcome of the Plan Commission vote, staff will memorialize this and any other specified variations in the ordinance to be considered by the City Council. There is also proposed traffic signal at Caton Farm Road and Old Mill Crossing. The proposed site plan reflects 2 proposed right-in, right-out only access points on Route 59 and a proposed right-in only access on Caton Farm Road closest to the building, and a proposed full access on Caton Farm Road opposite Old Mill Road. The applicant has submitted a traffic impact study that states a traffic signal is warranted at that intersection. The city's traffic engineer has reviewed the study, however, and does not concur based on the IDOT strategic regional arterial requirements. Caton Farm Road is a designated strategic regional arterial. Per those requirements, peak volumes were overstated in the study by not taking into account the allowance of right turns on red signals, and therefore our traffic engineer did not occur with the findings of that study. And that completes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Michael Hanson, attorney 111 North Ottawa, on behalf of the petitioner. If I could just make one comment to begin, and that would be we are in agreement with the city staff, the city manager. We will do the sidewalks on Route 59, and I believe that the city is requesting our complying with or consenting to our request for a waiver of the sidewalks on Caton Farm Road. So,
very good. Mike, did you have anything else to add?
I have nothing else to add, and open any questions or
any comments or questions from the commission.
Yes, Mr. Hanson, can you help me understand or clarify with regards to what study supported or didn't support the traffic light at Caton Farm Road and Old Mill?
Yeah, we commissioned a traffic study with KLOA. That's the leading traffic design consultant in Chicago. If you read the study, it's a little bit confusing. I know the city traffic engineer is taking a little different position. We believe a traffic signal is necessary. We just want the opportunity. We're going to pay for the traffic signal. The city is not going to be liable for any expense on that. And right now our position is if when we want to put it in or we think it's warranted, then we want the opportunity to put it in.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with the perspective of error on the side of safety, and I think that's what your client that you're representing agrees with as well.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Scott, does the city want to comment on that?
Scott Gapsovich, engineering supervisor. So yes, our traffic engineer did review the study presented to us by KLOA. The warrant that they are using relies on a 1 hour peak traffic volume coming out of the site, out of the north leg of the intersection. That had a minimum number that needed to be met in order to have the traffic signal be warranted. Mm-hmm. I believe that number was 75 vehicles in that peak hour. But being that this is a strategic regional arterial, Caton Farm Road, mm-hmm. The other aspect of that is that you are supposed to ignore right turns out of the site because they're not really affected by whether there's a traffic signal there or not. So that, I believe there was 45 or 46 of those were right turns out of the site. So if you take away those 46 right turns out of the site away from the 75 vehicles total in that peak hour, it didn't meet the warrant for the signal. And that's the only warrant they were relying on. Okay. Typically, you look at volume coming off the minor street or the minor leg of the intersection in order to warrant a traffic signal, which it's not going to meet that number for sure. So.
Well, and my only comment, and it's purely just opinion, would be I understand why a business would want a light there, and I could think why other people would, but also if that light's red, you're going to be backing up traffic. Absolutely. On the other side of 59.
Absolutely.
And since it is a major arterial, that just needs to be taken into that's just my opinion. So,
I mean, you're weighing the needs of tens of thousands of vehicles traveling down Caton Farm Road versus the needs of, you know.
Well, it also may help, a signal there may help traffic on the south side as well.
Right, and there was also, if somebody wants to exit that site and turn right, that's not that difficult of a movement. You've got a traffic signal at Caton Farm and 59 to provide gaps. You got a traffic signal at Pebble and Caton Farm to provide gaps. Somebody wants to go left out of that site, there is going to be a connection point to Route 59 that allows a right-hand turn out onto 59 and back down to Caton Farm to then head east on Caton Farm.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Any other comments or questions for Scott from the commission?
I have
Scott?
a question.
Just, yeah?
You want the lady to go ahead first?
No, it's just before we let Scott.
I got two questions. Right now, where's the retention pond for this property? There's no retention pond.
Currently with the golf course, it's in the ponds on the golf course. That the intent is to pipe the drainage from the dealerships to the golf course and expand the ponds of the golf course.
So the water's going to flow to the west or to the north?
To the kind of the northwest, I believe, is the pond, and then those ponds ultimately drain north to the DuPage River. So they'll, with the redesign of the golf course, because they have to change around the holes, part of that is to incorporate some changes to the ponds to account for their detention requirements off-site of the dealership.
Okay, another question is, the property to the north of this, there's no future development, it says to the north. Who owns that property? Is Hawk going to purchase that property, or is the Park District still going to own that property to the north?
North of the Hawk property line is still going to be the golf course.
That's still going to be owned by the golf course?
The Park District, yes.
Or, I mean, by the Park District.
I can answer that question.
Yeah, okay, Mike.
No, the Hawk will, the property there on the diagram will be just owned by Hawk, okay? And they're looking to develop
The
that.
empty property to the
Empty
north.
property is part of the 7.75 acres we are purchasing
they're gonna
from
own
the
them,
Park
okay.
District, yes.
Yeah, I was saying north of that line where there's not another dealership shown.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
The DuPage River is still gonna be the golf course.
What type of development do they think they're gonna put there then?
We're attempting to attract another automobile dealership.
Oh, is that it? Okay, so this is just gonna be Mazda, Volkswagen right now, then they can expand to something else if they want later, down the road. Then they'll have to have another separate entrance off of 59 to get into that, new development, right, to the
It'll
north?
be determined at that time.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Thank you for letting me speak to you. My name is Carolyn Graban. I live in the condos on 59, right across from the golf course. And I tell you, that's the only beautiful part of this area is to look out at the golf course, to see the greenery, to see the trees, and see the sunsets. And with this concern that they're building a dealership, and then, as the man said, maybe another one. On 59 at Caton Farm, I'm next to the Coles, you have the Jewels, you have a gas station. Kitty corner across, you got the Walgreens, you've got another gas station. And then on 59 south of Caton Farm Road, you have another grocery store and multiple small dealers of groceries and everything else. We are overcrowded with traffic on Route 59. We always have a backup on 59. We just don't have the road or the space to be able to handle such a big operation like they're telling us. And it's going to spoil what little view that we have outside of being crowded by buildings and everything else. Please take that into consideration, because that's, like I said, the only beautiful part of living right there. We have nice condos right on 59, and I'm on 59. Right behind the Coles, there's some beautiful homes there. These people will be so disappointed, and owning a car dealership on 59 is very noisy because they're putting up a Toyota dealership on Weber Road in Renwick. That's a huge building. And with that, I would wish that they wouldn't do that to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Gloria Dow, and I live in the Wedgewood subdivision. I live directly south. I'm right across the street from the clubhouse at the Wedgewood Golf Course. I want to say that I want to only emphasize again what this woman has said. Joliet needs to look at the golf courses, you know, to put a car dealership in an intersection that now is probably the busiest intersection in the city of Joliet. We have almost on a regular basis, we have accidents there. Thank goodness we have the fire department just to the west of us, you know, so that they can come and help, and that the police department does a good job. I have no complaints with that. But there is no greenery on the west side. You know, other communities are developing beautiful golf courses, are making a lot of money on the golf courses and on recreation, and are doing something positive for the city. I realize that it's all about the money. Aren't we seeing that every day in our day-to-day life, all the way from the federal level on down to us little cities? And we need to somehow look for the people, you know, give the people what they need. There's a lot of property to the south of us, south of Caton Farm Road, that's available for development, that has plenty of room. They don't have to use up the golf course. They don't have to use the traffic congestion. The streets are already wide. There's already intersections there. Please consider this. I know it's a done deal. I know that her words and my words are falling on deaf ears, but at least we're doing the best. We're putting our best foot forward, and we're showing the community, our friends and our neighbors and the city of Joliet that we care. You know, we honestly care. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mike, could you address that? I have a question for you. The Park District came before the city years ago with a plan to utilize this corner for a purpose like this, correct? That's what we
Well,
read
that's
in
my
the-
understanding, but I think we have the executive director of Park District here today.
If-
He'd be
if they'd
better
like
to
to come
answer
up.
these questions for than I would. So.
Hi, I'm Tom Karstens, Executive Director for the Park District.
Thank you. I just had a few quick questions.
Sure.
So as was stated in the report, the Park District had approached the city before about a possible rezoning to do some commercial in that corner in the past.
Correct.
And you're going to try to utilize the same thing to do some commercial property in that corner, and that is going to generate some income for the Park District to revitalize that golf course.
That golf course and that golf course only.
Right.
It's mandated that money that we receive from this contract, the money has to stay at that course.
So that's just what I wanted to point out to these concerned citizens, is that the Joliet Park District plans on maintaining a golf course there.
Correct, and improving it.
And improving it, and they agree with you, but unfortunately you have to pay for that somehow, and that you are going to sell off a piece of that corner and move the golf course in a little bit and redesign.
Redesign of the irrigation system is archaic. We're having trouble finding parts to this day. It's been needed to be replaced years ago. So the irrigation system will be redone, the traps will be redone, some whole reconfiguration will be done. The clubhouse that's currently there will be refurbished and will be updated.
Okay. Do you have plans to move the maintenance facility from that frontage there, or is that?
At this time, we do not.
I was just curious. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions from the audience? Yes.
Could we see that picture where they're gonna entrance and exit this car dealership? So.
Could you state your name for the record?
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry. I'm Donna Anderson, and I live at 2308 Old Mill Road. So it's my understanding then that they are proposing to put a stoplight on Caton Farm and Old Mill?
That is their proposal.
Okay. Are you familiar with Old Mill Road? It's a dead-end street. We can't get out now. And and people sometimes think that if they go down Old Mill Road, that they're bypassing Route 59. They think, oh, it runs parallel, we'll jump down this road, even though we have 5 signs that say dead end, you know, turn around now, go back, stop. And they end up, that we have rocks at the end of our street. We've had at least 4 accidents where the cars are coming down our street so fast that they propel right over the rocks almost into the ponds. We've got 2 ponds back there. We've had cars that have come down so fast, they've propelled over the rocks and through the fence into the other single-family homes. Has there been a traffic study as far as the number of accidents at the intersections? Because we have pretty much weekly an accident at 59 Caton Farm. We have pretty much, you know, and that includes the cars coming out of Walgreens, accidents galore. So has there been a study on how many accidents have been there? I mean, it's a big concern. We can't even get out now, and if they put a traffic light there, cars are just gonna be coming across thinking they're just gonna bypass 59 and be shooting down our street.
So just a quick question to clarify. So are you against the traffic light being there?
I'm totally against the whole project.
I understand
Yes,
that.
and the
but-
traffic light.
But so
And
if
any
the
exit-
project were to go forward,
Any exit onto Caton Farm Road, I'm totally against.
so you would be against the next onto Caton Farm Road?
Yes.
But if there has to be one for the plan, you would still be against the traffic light there?
I'm against the traffic light on Caton Farm Road, yes.
Thank you. I wanted that clarification. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Oh, yes. Oh,
I wasn't cutting you
okay.
off. I just wanted to make sure that that's what you were saying.
That would be a total disaster.
I was
having
just
a
curious
traffic
because
light right there.
you'd made
Right.
mention that you had difficulty leaving your
Right.
subdivision.
In fact, the city
And that would
just
give you
recently in
the
the-
ability to do that.
Right, the city just recently, I think in like the last 3 months, put up a, please do not block the intersection.
Yes.
For us,
Yeah,
so
those are-
and that has helped a lot. You know, people have been courteous enough to let us out, but yeah, you cannot get out. And also just having this car dealership, you know, aside from the accidents, I think with just the noise, and you said tens of thousands of cars going down the street, then it would just increase. We just can't handle it.
I have one more quick question. Sure. Is Old Mill a city road? Are you in the city of Joliet?
Yes.
Okay, so it is a city road. Scott, I mean, there's no reason for a speed bump there if they have issues? Could the city look at maybe some sort of speed thing there that might slow people, like a speed bump or something that would slow people coming in?
Why would they even need to come down our street though? We're 36 units. We don't, unless you live there, you don't need to come down our street.
I agree. Right. You're telling me that people are doing it now.
Right.
Trying to bypass and that they're driving so fast that they're driving into someone's, that's just.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay. So that's our concern. And just the noise. The car dealership would have a service center for vehicles. I'm assuming with door bays that might be open and, you know, the noise of riveting cars, you know, fixing the cars all day long. The noise would just increase. The lights, if the lights are out there, we do have units that are right up to Caton Farm Road, so the light would be a factor. But most importantly, I think it would just be totally dangerous to have a dealership there. But I would kind of like to know if there was a traffic study, is the number of accidents at Caton Farm and 59.
We will definitely try to get you that answer before this comes to city
Oh,
council.
well, that's another good point. Thank you. On your letter that was sent out,
yes,
it says if you have questions, please call this number. No one ever called back, so.
What number is that?
The 4041. I know we've had neighbors that could not attend today, so they left their information on the phone, and I know I was one of them, and no one called me back.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Is there one more comment?
John, hi. I'm from Downers Grove. Question is, I understand there's going to be 2 dealerships. Is the access and entrance off of 59 going to be put in at this time or when the 3rd dealership goes in? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Now.
My name is Richard Rodriguez. I'm a resident there in that area at 5110 Wildflower Court. I'm kind of excited about the dealership coming there in that area. No, very serious. I'm excited about the dealership coming in. I think it's a good idea. I think having a stoplight there would help prevent a lot of the accidents. I travel through there very frequently. At Walgreens all the time. It seems like there's always a lot of traffic buildup there. I think a stoplight would be a reasonable way to try to reduce some of the accidents that occur there. My assumption is that that would probably improve the traffic there in that community.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Carol Pearsall. I'm a resident of the Old Mill Crossings subdivision also. I am currently against the changing of the zoning. I again have traffic safety issues. Again, we have much difficulty getting in and out of our subdivision. Traffic accidents, 59 and Caton Farm are already so busy. So I am very concerned about that. And the increased flow of traffic, you know, your car carriers coming in, bringing vehicles, et cetera. Again, noise is a big concern. Personally, if this, again, I'm opposed, but if this project was to go through, sorry, Donna, if it goes through, I want a stoplight. Because again, if you're going to put a driveway entrance opposite our street, there'd be no way that we could get in and out of our subdivision if there wasn't a stoplight. And again, several of our, including myself, are concerned about our property values as far as the subdivision goes, if we've got, you know, large commercial going in on that corner also. So, thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to address how the dealership would have their service doors?
Yes, the service doors will be closed at all times. Right there on that drawing, the service area is going to be right in the middle between the two. And in today's environment, the doors are closed at all the time. If I can make another just comment, the traffic study does indicate that a traffic light, I know it sounds like that, if you will, that we are at odds with the City of Joliet traffic engineer, but the traffic study indicates that a traffic light would improve safety at that area.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm hearing the residents say. We studied whether the light should be at Walgreens, but it's determined that the light would be better for everyone concerned at Old Mill. So, you know, I know it's our intention to, you know, comply with that and make this as safety conscious as possible and put in the traffic light, so.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions from the audience? From the commission? Yes.
I have one more question. Mike Hanson, the lady that spoke before you, she brought up a point I just caught. What about when they have delivery of new cars, the car carriers? Where are they going to unload the cars at?
They're going to unload them. They're going to come in on that, off of Caton Farm Road, right there at that entrance, and they're going to go
by Old Mill Road?
Off by Old Mill right there. They're
just
not
to the north
in.
of Old Mill.
Pardon?
Just to the north of the Old Mill.
Right at Old Mill. You see directly across from Old Mill.
Right.
And then they're going to go into the dealership and load them in the back, unload and load them in the back of the dealership.
Okay, so it'll be completely off the street then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
they will need that, and that's another reason you'll need a traffic light, because those car carriers are going to want to get out, okay? And they want to turn left, right?
Gotcha.
So, you know, they're going to need that light there.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, then a motion is in order for Z-8-18, P-1-18, and FP-1-18 as the addendums by the city.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Broderick?
Present.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Ms. Fiding?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Mr. Rusnellis?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Chairman, the next item on our agenda is A-6-18, and that is the amendment to an annexation agreement for Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet subdivision. The petitioner has requested that the proposed amendment to the annexation agreement for Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet subdivision be tabled to the April 19th Plan Commission meeting. The tabling request will allow the petitioner additional time to analyze future dates for future roadway projects within and around their industrial campus. The planning and public works staffs are in favor of this request. And that concludes this report, Mr. Chairman.
Kendall, that was P-2-18 and F6.
Actually, that was A-6-18.
Motion's in order to table.
So moved.
Second?
Call the roll.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Ms. Fiding?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Mr. Rusnellis?
Aye.
Mr. Broderick?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, the next item on the agenda, we move this down, and that is Z5-18. That is the reclassification of 2409 West Jefferson Street from I-1 light industrial zoning to B3 general business zoning. The applicant in this matter is Albert Kopinski. He is also the owner. He is requesting a zoning reclassification to align the zoning with the existing and proposed land use of the parcel. Existing zoning is I-1 light industrial. Proposed zoning is B3 general business. Location 2409 West Jefferson Street. The size of the parcel is 0.64 acres. The existing land use is auto accessories. Surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is I-1, and that's light industrial. To the south is B3 general business. To the east is I-1 light industrial, and to the west is B3 general business. Under site history, the petitioner has concurrently submitted a special use permit request to the Zoning Board of Appeals to allow an auto customization, auto accessory installation, and used car sales business at this location. The special use permit approval is contingent on the zoning reclassification of this property from I-1 light industrial to B3 general business zoning. This special use permit petition will be heard at the March 15th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals, which happened earlier this afternoon. The City Council had denied a similar petition for a special use permit to allow an auto accessories installation, customization, and used car sale facility at this location at their January 2nd meeting. An audio and video recording of the City Council's discussion on this matter can be found on the city's archived e-agenda minutes and streaming video for that meeting date. Because the property was zoned I-1 light industrial at the time of the denial of the special use permit request, the petitioner is requesting that the property be reclassified from I-1 light industry to B3 general business so that the petitioner can bring the petition back to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the City Council. City ordinance requires that at least 1 year has elapsed since any denial of any prior application for a special use permit that would have authorized substantially the same, unless conditions in the area have substantially changed. The rezoning of this property would constitute a substantial change and would allow this petition for a special use permit to be reheard at this time. This Plan Commission petition, as well as the new special use permit request, are scheduled to be on the April 3rd, 2018 City Council agenda. Under special information, the petitioner operates a specialty auto accessory store, Crusader Customs, within the front portion of the existing 5,000 plus square foot brick and metal building. The building has been used for automotive parts sales since the late 1970s. It was most recently CarQuest Auto Parts. The petitioner recently moved his business from 1020 West Jefferson to this site. The petitioner has been in the auto accessories, customization, and vehicle sales business for 18 years in Joliet. Prior to operating at 1020 West Jefferson, the petitioner was the co-owner of an auto accessories and customization business at 222 Ruby Street. The sale of auto accessories is allowed in the I-1 light industry and B3 zoning districts without a special use permit approval. The petitioner is requesting a special use permit in order to be able to install these specialty auto accessories as well as customized auto vehicles and sell customized used vehicles. The City of Joliet zoning ordinance states that an establishment for the display, sale, and minor repair, which is considered installation, of automotive vehicles in the B3 general business and I-1 light industrial zoning districts requires a special use permit. The property is in an existing light industrial and general business area of the city, and the proposed land use is consistent with other allowable uses in this area of the city. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, Michael Hansen, attorney, 111 North Ottawa Street. We concur with the recommendation of the staff. Again, this is a matter that's just talked about. It's a down zoning request from I-1 to B3. The other matters were taken up by the zoning board and would be for the city council here coming up in a couple of weeks. And we felt that this was a necessary and proper matter for us to obtain the other uses we're desiring to undertake at that property. And I think it's consistent with the area, so.
Very good, thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission?
I have one. Would the rear of the building, would that have to be paved then eventually?
Yes, that's part of the requirement.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just have a quick question. For the general business, the difference would be the install, customization, and selling of the vehicle. That's the difference?
No, I mean, for what we're here today on?
Yeah.
Well, the property is currently zoned I-1, which is a kind of one of the heavier industrial uses, okay?
Yeah.
We're agreeing to what they call a down zoning down to B3, which is a less intense use. So less less types of uses can be then undertaken at that property. It's more consistent with what there is on Jefferson Street. It's just that we
Yeah.
also need special uses for our proposed uses in that classification. So those go to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay, but the ultimate goal is to sell?
The ultimate goal will be to sell customized used vehicles in the back of the property.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna ask, where the cars are gonna be kept in the back then?
In the back, and there's gonna be some on the west side,
Okay.
behind the fence.
Very good. Any other comments or questions from the commission?
I got one question. The only reason why he's gonna get a dealer license is so that way he can go to the auction, pick up a car, customize it, and if it doesn't sell his property, he can bring it back and sell it there.
One of the things I want to clarify is he's selling used customized vehicles,
Right.
not used cars. There's a distinction.
Okay. Gotcha.
Any comments or questions from the audience?
My name is Tom Boucher. I am a resident of 110 Rebecca Road in Joliet. I'm appearing before you as a concerned citizen and ask that you uphold the January 2nd, 2018 City Council rejection of a special use permit for Crusader Customs. This is an opinion that I shared with our elected officials, the mayor and the city council, prior to their January 2nd, 2018 meeting, and did so in the form of an email, of which I have copies to share with you. Like you, I believe in transparent and open government. And in so doing, I purposely sent the message to them via email, so it would be official with the city. Pass this to you. There are 5, so. Share it, if you will. I have a prepared statement that I wish to share. The city has spent over 6 years preparing for and implementing a TIF district that abuts the property adjacent to 2409 West Jefferson Street. Since 2012, the city has embarked on this project to encourage land development that would improve the area and add new medical facilities around the hospital, as well as ancillary services like restaurants, shops, etc. In addition to the time invested and the commitment of 23 years of tax revenue set aside for the TIF district, the city has twice commissioned S.B. Friedman development advisors to conduct studies on the area. The most recent was a $29,720 investment in 2016, with the focus on the areas south and west of the hospital. I presume that each of you are intimately familiar with their findings and suggestions, so in the interest of time, I'll reference key S.B. Friedman observations that I believe sum it up well. Within the TIF district area, 74% of the buildings show signs of deterioration. A lack of community planning for the area. Overcrowding of structures, inadequate parking, sidewalks, and access to right-of-way. Though this report addresses the immediate TIF district, unfortunately, it reflects sadly on many parts of our city, including the areas adjacent to the TIF district. I feel compelled to cite reasons given by city officials and hospital liaisons to the city in 2016 as justification for creating the TIF district. And these are their words, not mine. Being their words, they should be familiar to all of you. We'd like to encourage land development that would improve the area and add new medical facilities around the hospital. The creation of the TIF district is a wise decision. We need to encourage development around St. Joe's Hospital. St. Joseph's has made a commitment to Joliet. They stayed in Joliet. I think the city should make the same commitment to St. Joseph Hospital. The hospital is the single biggest employer in Joliet, and especially what happened with Silver Cross, I think it is imperative that we work with St. Joe's. St. Joseph Hospital employs 2,400 employees, with 200 more employees adjacent at the Villa Franciscan facility next door. We will both be better served by making the area look nicer. The enhancement of the area surrounding St. Joe's and the west side is vital to the experience of our patients and their families, our associates, and likewise to our business. We look forward to collaborating with the city to support the economic development of the city. And this next was from the now deceased Dr. Ted Kanalakis. For many, the hospital neighborhood is their first impression of Joliet. There are at least 100 patient transfers to St. Joseph's per month, and their loved ones come to visit. Now, in the same area, the city launched a code enforcement program aimed at getting business cooperation and cleanup, property improvements aimed at polishing up the route's curbside appeal. There was a release, a citywide program was launched to improve the appearance of major commercial corridors throughout the city. Within the report and in other sources, there are countless references to the area being blighted. So at the end of the day, we're talking about an area that the city has designated for major redevelopment and investment. Investment of infrastructure and expanding the footprint of a continually growing healthcare industry that is projected to experience a compounded annual growth rate of greater than 15.9%. Regardless of the figures, with an aging booming population, it is the highest growth sector in our economy. Goals for the area included proposed $17.9 million in improvements, including redevelopment of some of the buildings, improved public infrastructure, as well as improvement to surrounding streetscapes, landscaping, and signage. When you look and see similar investments already having been made, initially by Joha, that is now part of Presence Cancer Care on Jefferson Street. They employ over 100 employees and serve over 5,000 patients. Other examples of investment in this area by the target types of companies, the investments by Heartland, Future Diagnostics, and several more. And from a commercial perspective, when you look at the complexes where Potbelly's, Chipotle, and Aldi have recently been built, you add in Starbucks and the other outlots at Menards, as well as renovations done at what is now Popeyes and Wild Horse, you get a sense of this vision of what that area can be beginning to take shape. And just adjacent to this district, the petitioner is seeking to open a body shop for hot rod automobiles. Now, the city has many industrial locations already designated for this type of an enterprise. And in my opinion, the city and its residents will be better served with this category of business operating in one of those existing areas. As stated at the outset, I'm appearing before you as a concerned citizen and ask that you uphold the January 2nd, 2018 City Council rejection of a special use permit for Crusader customers. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your courtesy.
Thank you. Mike, just to clarify, this is not in the TIF district.
It's not even in the TIF district, it's not even on the map. The TIF district is not even on the map that's shown on the board, okay? I think if the objector were really understanding the situation, we're asking the Plan Commission to recommend downzoning of this property, would seem to be in compliance with what he would want representing the TIF district. I will make this other comment, two other comments. Again, we are not a body shop. That's not, we're not a body shop. We're a very small minor repair is what we're applied for the Zoning Board of Appeals. And we were there earlier this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and we received a 6-0 unanimous vote in favor of our request at the Zoning Board of Appeals too, just for the record.
Thank you.
I'm the owner. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm here to answer them too.
Any comments or questions for the business owner?
All the work you're gonna do will be inside the building?
Yes.
That's it, nothing on the outside?
Nothing from the outside.
Yes, Mr. Kapinski, do you have other business models similar to the one you're proposing now in the city of Joliet or elsewhere that we could reference to get a perspective of what it's going to look like a year or 2 years down the road?
Yes, right now, I moved from my previous location. I was on Jefferson. It was 1020 West Jefferson, and I'm moving down the street. So if you guys know what that property looked like before, I did a lot of renovations. I cleaned up all the bushes, fixed all the windows in it, and beautified it to make it look nicer. And I still have that property, which I'm going to lease out.
Okay, so if I can envision that, so you're gonna take that business model essentially and move it a bit west?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, then a motion's in order for Z-5-18.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Sir? I didn't hear what you said.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Ms. Feige?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Mr. Rosanellis?
Aye.
Mr. Broderick?
Before I vote, I'd like to read something. Mr. Kibitsky, while I'm economically apathetic, I've not heard compelling evidence to support Z-5-18. Therefore, I vote no.
Mr. Cox?
No.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
6-2, motion carries. Mr. Chairman, the next item on our agenda is P-2-18 and FP-2-18. P2 is the preliminary plat of Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet, Phase 18 subdivision. FP2 is the final plat of Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet, Phase 18 subdivision. The applicant in this matter and the owner is Centerpoint Joliet Terminal Railroad. Requested action is approval of preliminary plat and final plat of subdivision to create 17 industrial lots for future development. Existing zoning is ITB, which is the Intermodal Terminal Transportation Equipment, and ITC, which is Intermodal Terminal Industrial Park. Location is Millsdale Road and Brandon Road. Size is 394.5 acres. Existing land use is undeveloped industrial business park. Surrounding land use and zoning to the north is undeveloped industrial, and that's IT zoning. To the south is industrial, unincorporated Will County. To the east is undeveloped R1B. To the west is industrial, unincorporated Will County, and I-T zoning. Under site history, Centerpoint Joliet Terminal Railroad has petitioned for multiple requests heard and approved by the Plan Commission and the City Council for their Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet development. The majority of the property, the intermodal rail yard, was annexed and zoned IT and approved with an annexation agreement as part of Phase 1 in December 2008. Phase 2, which included all of Centerpoint Holdings at the time, was approved in March of 2010. Subsequent phases have been recorded from March 2011 through June of 2017. Under special information, the petitioner is requesting approval of the Phase 18 preliminary and final plats in order to allow the subdivision and continued industrial development of the Centerpoint Intermodal Center. 17 lots are included in the subdivision proposal, and they range in size from 2.1 to 74.8 acres. A conceptual 1 million square foot warehousing and distribution facility is proposed for Lot 36, and it is anticipated to be in for permitting in April 2018. Additional 1 million square foot buildings are anticipated for lots 29 and 42. A 500,000 square foot building is anticipated for lot 21 and a 100,000 square foot building for lot 25. There are no current development plans or users known for these lots at this time. The remaining lots will be utilized for Cedar Creek and floodplain protection and the naturalized stormwater detention areas and system. The proposed development plans will comply with the IT zoning and the city's non-residential design standards and landscape ordinances. All public improvements will be required as per the subdivision regulations and the Public Works and Utilities departments. Sewer and water connection, Sewer surcharge fees and development impact fees will be required as per the previously approved annexation agreement. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Can we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Michael Hanson on behalf of Centerpoint. We have no comments or entertain any questions.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission? Hearing none, any comments or questions from the audience?
What is this part? Okay. Is this all what's really over there on Brandon side? On
the other side.
He's gonna need to put something for his city to increase their police force. You know, there are enough troubles out there right now.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, a motion is in order for P-2-18 and FP-2-18.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Ms. Bidey?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Mr. Rosanellis?
Aye.
Mr. Broderick?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Chairman, the next item on our agenda is Z718, P318, and FP318. Z7 is the reclassification of 142.7 acres located at 2903 Schweitzer Road from I-1 Light Industry to ITC Intermodal Terminal Warehouse zoning. P3 is the preliminary plat of Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet Subdivision, Northwest Amendment Phase 19. FP3 is the final plat of Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet Subdivision, Northwest Amendment Phase 19. The applicant and owner is Centerpoint Joliet Terminal Railroad. Their requested action is approval of a zoning reclassification, preliminary plat, and final plat of subdivision to create 5 industrial lots for future development. Existing zoning is I-1 Light Industry. The proposed zoning is ITC Intermodal Terminal Industrial Park. Location is 2903 Schweitzer Road, west of Vetter Road. Size is 138.2 acres. Existing land use is the Challenge Park Extreme CPX Paintball Park. Surrounding land use and zoning: to the north is industrial, I-2, and that's our general industrial zoning district. To the south is undeveloped, vacant industrial unincorporated Will County, I-1, and IT. To the east is landfill, and that's all unincorporated Will County. To the west is industrial, I-2 zoning. Under site history, the subject site was annexed, zoned I-1, and a conditional use permit for an open-air recreational use was approved in April of 2000. Challenge Park Extreme was constructed in September of that year. Under special information, the petitioner is requesting approval of the zoning reclassification and the Phase 19 preliminary and final plats in order to allow the subdivision and continued industrial development of the Centerpoint Intermodal Center. 5 lots are included in the subdivision proposal, and they range in size from 0.3 to 68.8 acres. The need for the change in zoning and subdivision at this time is to accommodate a future 1.2 million square foot industrial building on Lot 20 and the proposed roadway to the overpass and Des Plaines River Bridge on Lot 17. The proposed bridge and roadway is shown within a 320-foot roadway and drainage easement on the plats. The remaining lots will be utilized for the naturalized stormwater detention system. The proposed development plans comply with the IT zoning ordinance and the city's non-residential design standards and landscape ordinance. This site will be incorporated within the existing annexation agreement for the Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet Subdivision. All public improvements will be required as per the subdivision regulations, and the Public Works and Utilities Departments. Sewer and water connection, sewer surcharge fees, and development impact fees will be required as per the previously approved annexation agreement. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Chairman, members of the commission, Michael Hanson on behalf of Centerpoint, we concur with the staff report and ask for a recommendation for approval.
Any comments or questions from the commission? Hearing none. Any comments or questions from the audience? Yes.
Yeah, my name is Judy Kreiser. I've lived on Vetter Road since 1977, when it was just a gravel road. You people don't realize what's out there. They say, oh, Hobolt Bridge, oh, this is really great. There's 11 families living on Vetter Road that nobody mentions. We've been, like I said, we've been there for 77, and we like it out there. You're pushing for these warehouses, and like my daughter said, how many are empty? You want to bring more? Centerpoint owns that property. The city does not get that much revenue off them properties because Centerpoint owns it. The companies, they send all their money to wherever the warehouses are. The city doesn't get that much in revenue, and yet you're disturbing our properties. You know, like I said, I've lived out there since 77 years old, since 77. And the traffic going up to those, especially the warehouse on the end of our property there, the Mars Candy, you should see the cars going down there. You need police to patrol that even. Those cars are going, they're supposed to be like 40 miles an hour, 45. Hey, they're doing 60. They're not even stopping at the stoplights. Vetter Road is hilly, it's curvy, and you've got these people doing 60 miles an hour down that road. We live on that road. We still have a right to live there in some peace, not sitting there in a warehouse. We have enough with the Mars Candy now, with the noise, with the trucks. Now we got traffic. You're putting more warehouses in these places, and you're not having, oh yeah, trucks, okay, the noise, the traffic, the people going to these warehouses. You're just making it worse than it is already, and you don't even have plans for the future to do anything. The Hobolt Bridge isn't going to settle anything because the trucks aren't going to use it. They have that big old, they did the Route 55. The trucks don't use it that much. They're supposed to, they don't. They come out of the intermobile, they're supposed to turn left. Do they? No, they turn right because you got the gas stations on 53, which makes it nice. You think they're going to get off Hobolt Road and go over there? And they're not going to. They're going to keep going on 53 because it's nicer. I want you to keep in mind that there's so many empty warehouses. What's going to happen in the future? Centerpoint owns that property. Like I said, the city's not getting that much revenue. You have to, and then the city has to deal with the traffic. We would like to have extra police out there. Do we have that? No. We complain about the drag racing out there. Do we see the police? No. And we're getting fed up with it. Especially these cars that is supposed to be a breakdown lane in 3 lanes. No, they go around the cars. You're doing 60 miles an hour. There's no police out there to even, I mean, the city could make a fortune off these people just speeding down that road. It's a Vetter Road. If you go down there, it's hilly, it's curvy. Those used to be old car paths. And I'm surprised we haven't had an accident yet. Something needs to be done. You can't keep okaying warehouses. They stay there for a while till they have to pay taxes and they move out. So what are we gaining? Empty warehouses. And we're approving more warehouses. Why? It doesn't make sense. You have no plans for the traffic or anything yet. Why don't you people back off and not give the warehouses a go-ahead? Because you're not making that much money on them. And they're problems. you know, and why should the city have to pay to fix the roads when there's no money? There's no money for the Hobolt Bridge right now. The studies have to be done, that's years down the road. You know, and yet you want to put more warehouses. Oh, let's put more warehouses in. It doesn't make sense for you people to do that. You know, like I said, you better do some thinking on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Kathy Garthis. I live on Vetter Road at my mom's place. I have been greatly impacted by this stuff. What happened to me, well, I can't mention what happened to where I previously lived. So now I'm moving on Vetter Road back at my mom's place. I am battling that Mars Candy warehouse with the noise 24/7. You know, at nighttime they get super loud. And you guys are wanting to let them have more warehouses built. Who controls the noise from these places? The lights, the traffic and everything. I mean, how many times do we gotta go over it? You know, we call the cops rather would harass us rather than get these wrong doors of the speeding cars, the trucks and that who don't wanna obey the traffic signals. It's a safety hazard. I think that more warehouses are needed. It's not a needed thing. When we got so many empty warehouses running around Will County here, I don't think more warehouses are needed. And this agreement with Centerpoint had with the city years back, that was years back. That agreement, I think, was based on that everybody out there was going to be sold out and left the area. Well, I got news for you. Everybody on Vetter Road is still there. And we intend on staying there. So with this agreement with this Hobolt Bridge was all judged on the fact that everybody would have been sold out. We're not selling out. Neighbors down the road, they're made an agreement with Centerpoint to buy their frontage part of their property, but they're still staying there. They're still build our new house in the back of their property. So that means they're staying, we're staying, our neighbors, we talked to them, we're all staying. This agreement that Centerpoint had with the city of Joliet years back when the Centerpoint Intermodal started in Joliet is based on the fact that everybody was going to be gone. Everybody is not gone. And you guys can't keep impacting us. Even the Illinois Pollution Board would tell you that it's already major violations with the noise and the lights from these warehouses that are out there now because they have came into what was a peaceful country community. We're used to this quietness. We're used to the darkness. It's not like this is city life and we're all this noise already to where then the more noise is not going to make a difference. You know, you are totally destroying our lives. I've got it, like I said, the noise from this Mars Candy warehouse comes into my place, into my bedroom at night. Every night, they get the noisiest at night because it's 24/7. And I've had the fits. We're talking to the city, talking to the mayor, talking to Mike Hanson, talking to try to get something done just with that, and nothing has been done, needless to say, about it. And I am losing sleep over there. My health is deteriorating because of it. And I don't think it's fair that you guys should let more of this stuff come in. Add to the problems. You know they ain't got the infrastructure to handle it. We spent $70 million on I-55 over there, that interchange over there to handle the trucks. It would be nice if the trucks would take that. But they don't want to. They want to go where it's free and go down there away to 53. And I don't think you guys understand it. You know, everybody keeps saying, oh, this Hobolt Bridge is going to come out in the Centerpoint Intermodal. And what they want to do, widen Vetter Road and then have the trucks come down a residential street. Now, where's the problem there? Sending the trucks down a residential street is not a solution. We're going to get vibrations and noise from the trucks. And not to mention the smog from the trucks. I mean, where I used to live, across from the UP yard, it got to where we couldn't even walk across the yard. We couldn't have our windows open anymore because of the smog and the pollution coming from that intermodal. You know, forced my old boss to move. We're not gonna move on Vetter Road either, so, you guys gotta understand that the people are still living out here, and you need to take that in consideration. Don't add more crap to our area and our lives. Because if you do, I guarantee you, there will be lawsuits. I'm ready to file lawsuits right now.
Any other comments or questions from the commission?
Chairman, Mike, is there plans to improve Vetter Road?
Yes, sir.
Is this part of this eventually, or?
Yeah, no question, we have to improve Vetter Road, we will. I mean, the bridge is gonna be a reality here, and we have to improve Vetter Road for the bridge.
Thank you.
We're gonna get vibrations from the trucks, the noise from the trucks on our road. We're gonna feel it. We got a house from the 1860s. One truck goes down the road, we feel the vibration.
Are there any other comments or questions from the commission? Any other comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, the motion's in order for.
Improve the road, he's gonna approve Vetter Road, that means sending the trucks down Vetter Road. When one truck goes down a road, we feel the vibration. Our house is not gonna sit there. What happens when trucks keep going by and our house is shaking like this? One truck goes down the road and our house is shaking. So the improvements are not gonna help us.
A motion's in order for Z-7-18, P-3-18, and FP-3-18.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Mr. Russinellis?
Aye.
Mr. Broderick?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Ms. Feige?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, the next item on the agenda is P4-18. That is the preliminary plat of Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet subdivision, Phase 20. And this is a minor subdivision. The applicant and owner, Centerpoint Joliet Terminal Railroad, their requested action is approval of preliminary plat of subdivision to create 2 industrial lots for future development. Existing zoning is ITB, Intermodal Terminal Transportation Equipment. Location 1800 Centerpoint Way, which is west of Millsdale Road. Size of the parcel is 27.5 acres. It is undeveloped industrial business park. To the north is the Audubon Country Club, and that has I-1 zoning. To the south is undeveloped industrial IT. To the east is industrial IT, and to the west is industrial IT. Under site history, Centerpoint Joliet Terminal Railroad has petitioned for multiple requests heard and approved by the Plan Commission and the City Council for their Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet development. The majority of the property, which is Intermodal Rail Yard, was annexed, zoned IT, and approved with an annexation agreement as part of Phase 1 in December 2008. Phase 2, which included all of Centerpoint Holdings at the time, was approved in March 2010. Subsequent phases have been recorded from March 2011 through June 2017. Under special information, the petitioner is requesting approval of Phase 20 preliminary plat in order to allow the subdivision and continued industrial development of the Centerpoint Intermodal Center. 2 lots are included in this subdivision proposal that range in size from 6.1 acres to 21.3 acres. Lot 62 will be utilized for a truck terminal for wheeled storage. This would be an expansion for International Transload Logistics, which currently has their warehousing operation located at 3801 Centerpoint Way in the park. Lot 63 will include a naturalized stormwater detention area and a portion of Cedar Creek and its floodplain. This area will be protected by easements and will not be developed in the future. The proposed development plans will comply with the existing IT zoning code and the city's non-residential design standards and landscape ordinances. All public improvements will be required as per the subdivision regulations and the requirements of the Public Works and Utilities departments. Sewer and water connection, sewer surcharge fees, and development impact fees will be required as per the previously approved annexation agreement. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We have the petitioner on this.
Michael Hanson again on behalf of Centerpoint.
Anything to add to staff report?
No, sir.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission? Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, then a motion is in order for P-4-18.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Mr. Roosevelt?
Aye.
Mr. Broderick?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Ms. Bidey?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is new business, not for public hearing. We have no items. Study session, we have no items. Old or new business, not for final action or recommendation, we have no items. The next item on the agenda would be public comments. This is for anyone wanting to speak regarding non-agenda items.
Hearing none?
Next item on the agenda is adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, the meeting is adjourned.